Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. This is your math teacher from Ismailia Youth Services Schools. And today we are going to learn exercise 2.8, which is in the continuation of the previous lessons in which we have studied 2.2 to 2.7. But before starting the lecture, let me give you some instructions. Do not disturb the lecture class during the lecture. And if you have any queries, you can ask at the end of the session. The pages which we are going to discuss today are 46 to 48. The topics of the day are the definition of the search and the simplification of the search. Before my explanation, let me read the definition of search for you and then I will explain it furthermore. Surds are numbers left in square root form or cube root form, etc. They are therefore irrational numbers. The reason we leave them as surds is because in decimal form they would go on forever. So students, surds. What are surds? The definition says that surds are numbers. And what type of numbers are they? They are irrational numbers. And you are already aware of the term irrational numbers. Irrational numbers are those which are undefined numbers. So surds are undefined numbers. And what is the property written over here in the definition? The property of the surds is that they are left in the square root form or cube root form or nth root form, whatever we may say. Why? Because upon the conversion of the surds from these roots, the number would come, a decimal number would come, that would go on forever, which have infinite figures. For example, these are the examples of the surds. For example, root 11 is a surd. So why root 11 is a surd? Because if we would convert root 11 into decimal numbers, the answer would come as 3.3166 and so on. It means that if we would convert root 11 into decimal number, an infinite figure would come after the decimal point. So root 11 is a surd and we would left root 11 as it is. Now moving forward, B is 4. 4 is not a surd. Why 4 is not a surd? Because 4 is a whole number. So whole number is a whole number. It doesn't goes on forever, so it is not a surd. Root 9. Root 9 is also not a surd. Why? Because upon the conversion of the root 9, it would become 3. And 3 is a whole number. It is a rational number, so it is not a surd. And root 9, why does it become 3? Because 2 3's makes a 9. So this is a square root. So whenever we extract this 9 out of the square root, it would become 3 because two identical factors makes 9. Same goes for D. Cube root 9. This is cube, which is a small 3 over here. This is called as cube root 9. It is not a surd. Why it is a surd? Why it is a surd? Because whenever we would convert it into the decimal number, the answer would come as 2.08008 and so on. So it is a surd. 81 is not a surd. Why? Because two nines make 81. So whenever we drag it out, it would become 9. Root 24 is a surd. Why? Why it is a surd? Because it would go on forever upon the conversion into the decimal number. So all the numbers in the root which comes out as a decimal number which has infinite figures are surds, and those numbers which comes out as a whole number or rational numbers, they would become rational numbers. They are not a surd. So for example, root 45 is a surd. Why root 45 is a surd? To know that we will have to solve it first. So solving it, it would make root 9 multiplied by 5. 9 multiplied by 5 means that there are two factors of 45. There is no identical two factors of 45. If there would have been two identical factors for 45, they could have been dragged out of the surd, dragged out of the square root. But we do not have two identical factors. We have different factors which are 3, 9 and 5. You can also write 3 as well, but I am taking 9 and 5 over here. So taking 9 and 5, you can write it in this form as well by the law of exponent, law of square roots. So it would become root 9 multiplied by root 5. And root 9 have two identical factors, as you know. So two identical factors which are 3, so they might take it drag out from the root. So it would become 3 multiplied by root 5. Is there any factor of 5 which can, two identical factors of 5 which can be dragged out of the square root? No. So we would left root 5 as it is. So it would become 3 multiplied by root 5. So root 5 is a surd because it doesn't have two identical factors. So it means that 3 root 5 is a number which is a surd or indefinite number. So root 45 is also a surd. Now moving forward, root a cube. Root a cube means a square multiplied by a. If you break it down into the factors. So root a square. A square means you can drag out this a from the square root. And this is root a. So you can say a is square root a. So this has become also a surd. Why? Because there is one figure which is left into the square root. So any number which is left into the root. Why? Because upon the conversion, they would become upon the conversion, they would our decimal number would come that would go on forever. So it means that we have to leave it as it is. Now, what do we do with these rational numbers, irrational numbers or surds? What do we do with them? To simplify these types of irrational numbers, what do? We rationalize the denominator. For example, if there is any number which is in the form of p upon q, or you can say into the fractional number like numerator and denominator. So if an irrational number occurs into the denominator, what do? We rationalize it. Why do we rationalize it? To solve it. For it, and what does the process called? Process is called as rationalizing the denominator. Now let me tell you the definition of the rationalizing the denominator first, and then I will explain it furthermore. The process by which a fraction is rewritten so that the denominator contains only rational numbers. A variety of techniques for rationalizing the denominator are demonstrating in next slides. What does it say? It says that if there is any fractional number which is written in the form of p upon q, so the numerator, we left it as it is. First of all, we observe the denominator. What do we observe? We observe it either it is a rational number or a irrational number or a surd, you can say. So if it is a surd, what do? We rationalize it first. And rationalizing the denominator has variety of techniques. And what are these techniques? I will explain you with the help of examples. First of all, if a denominator is an irrational number or a surd, and it is a it is in the form of a monomial. So it means that, and for example, this is under root b. So under root b means that it is a monomial denominator. Monomial denominator is a monomial denominator and a surd. So what do we do with it? We will convert it into the rational denominator. So it is a divided by upon under root b. So I have to convert this under root b into the rational one. So how can I convert it? I will take this denominator and multiply it with the numerator as well as the denominator. Why do we do so? We do so because if we are adding or subtracting any number with an expression, for example, we are going to add a number to an expression. What do we have to do? We have to subtract it as well. Likewise, if we are multiplying any number by a denominator, we have to divide it by the denominator as well to make it equivalent fraction. So, if we have an expression like this, a upon under root b. So, what do? We will take the denominator and multiply it by numerator as well as denominator to make it equivalent fraction. And what does it become by multiplying it? It would become a multiplied by root b would become a root b, and root b would become b. How does it become b? Like root b is equals to root b square. And you are already aware that whenever we have two identical factors into the root, we cancel it by the root. So root is cancelled by the square. So b is left as it is. So now what do we have? We have got a root b upon b. B is a rational number, and it is not a third. This is a rational number. So we have got a rational denominator. So this process by which we have done it is called as rationalizing the denominator. Now let's look at the example. That was the procedure, and this is now we are moving towards the example. If we will take numbers, for example, instead of a we are taking 4, and instead of root b we are taking 2, root 2. So root 2 is a third, we are already aware of it. So what do? We will take this root 2 and multiply it with the numerator as well as with the denominator. So numerator would become 4 root 2 and the denominator would become 2. Why? Because root 2 multiplied by root 2 is equals to root 2 square, and square is cancelled with the root, so it would become 2. So 4 root 2 divided by 2, we can cancel it. 2 ones are 2 and 2 twos are 4, so it would become 2 root 2. Now taking the conjugate. This is the second technique for rationalizing the denominator. In previous slide, we were rationalizing the denominator, which was in the monomial form, when we had only one denominator. Now we are having two numbers into the denominator. One is b plus root c. Whenever we have any number which is in a third, we call it the whole denominator as third. We would term as third. What we will do, we will rationalize it. This denominator has become the this denominator has become the irrational number or third. So we are converting it into the rational one. We are converting the denominator, irrational denominator, into the rational denominator. So the question is a upon b plus root c. So b plus root c is the denominator. What would we do? We will change the sign and multiply it with the numerator and the denominator. The sign has changed. It is b plus root c. The sign has changed and it has become b minus root c upon b minus root c, and we are multiplying it with the denominator and the numerator. So this changing of the sign, why the changing of the sign? The number we have got is called as a conjugate. So what did I say? I said that whenever we have an irrational denominator like b plus root c, what we will do? We will change the middle sign, only the middle sign of it, and we will take b minus under root c, b minus root c into the denominator and numerator, and we will multiply it with numerator and denominator of the previous expression. So it has become this changing of the sign. With the changes of the sign, this whole number has become the conjugate. So we are taking conjugate over here. So how can we take the conjugate? We will now multiply it with the numerator. So it would become ab, and minus sign would come as it is, and it would become a root c. And this is b plus root c, b minus root c. So a formula can apply, which is called as difference of the square. So b plus root c, b minus root c, we will apply difference of the square on them. So a plus b, a minus b is equals to a square minus b square. So taking this b plus root c, b minus root c would become b square minus root c square. And root c square is ultimately would termed as c. Why? Because the square has been cancelled by the root. Now taking the example, taking the numbers instead of the variables. If we are taking 6, suppose, and into the denominator we have 3 plus root 7. So what is the first step? We will change the middle sign like this. It has become 3 minus root 7, 3 minus root 7. And then we will multiply it with the numerator as well as with the denominator. So this is termed as conjugate. So we are taking the conjugate over here. So 6 multiplied by 3 is 18. 6 root 7 is 6 root 7. So in the denominator we have 3 plus root 7, 3 minus root 7. So the formula can be applied over here, which is difference of square, a plus b, a minus b. So it would become 3 3s are 9, and minus n over here. And root 7 would become 7. So 18 minus 6, root 7 would come as it is, and 9 minus 7 would become 2. 18 minus 6 is 9. You can take the common over here. 18 and 6 has a common of 6. So you can write 6 over here. 6 3s are 18 and 6 has been cancelled by the 6. So the common would be 3 minus root 7 and 6 would come like this upon 2. Why? Because 9 minus 7 is equals to 2. So 2 has been cancelled by this 6. So 2 ones are 2 and 2 3s are 6. So we can say 3 3s are 9 and 3 root 7 over here. We can also have 18 minus 6. So you can cancel it directly as well. 2 ones are 2 and 2 nines are 18 and 2 threes are 6. So you can also cancel them directly, or you can take the common and then cancel it with the denominator. Now, another example is root b minus root c. What is the difference between the previous example and the new example? The difference is that we were taking plus sign over here into the question. So we changed it into the minus sign. Now we are having minus sign over here. So we are changing into the plus sign. Another thing we can see over here is that these two numbers were, one was rational, one was irrational. So the whole term would become irrational. But in over here we have two terms which are irrational. Root b is also a third and root c is also a third. So we will take a divided by root b minus c. We will take the conjugate for it as well. We will change the middle sign, which was minus, and we will convert it into the plus sign. And we will multiply it with the numerator as well as with the denominator. So it would become a root b plus a root c. And root b would become b. As you know that we can cancel the square with the square root. And root c would be cancelled by root c. Root c would become root c square. So square would be cancelled by the root, so it would become b minus c. Now taking the numbers 12 upon root 15 minus root 7 is equals to 12 upon root 15 minus root 7 multiplied by root 15 plus. Now we have changed the sign, plus root 7 divided by root 15 plus root 7. So multiplying them together, 12 root 15 and 12 root 7 would come as it is. And this would become a minus b, a plus b. So the formula is applied over here. So it would become 15. Root 15 would become root 15 square minus root 7. Root 7 become root 7 square. So we will cancel the square with the square root. So it would become 15 minus 7, as you can see over here. So 12 root 15 plus 12 root 7 would come as it is, and root 15 minus 7 would become 8. Okay, now moving to forward, we are now moving towards the exercise. But before moving towards the exercise, let me repeat the whole lecture for you. I have first told you the definition of the surds. The definition of the surds says that they are irrational numbers which are left into the square root, a cube root or nth root form. Why do we left it into this root form? Because upon the conversion of them into the decimal numbers, a number would come, they would go on forever. For example, here I can see root 3. So root 3 is a surd. How come do I know? Because if I would convert root 3 into the decimal number, you can also check the conversion into the calculator. Write root, then write 3 and then press is equals to. A number would come that would go on forever. It would go so on, and it has infinite numbers after the decimal point. So this is called as surd. Then I have told you that what if surd comes into the denominator? If a surd comes into the denominator, there are two possibilities. One is that we have one number, one monomial denominator, you can say, and we have one surd into the denominator. So we will take that denominator and multiply it with the numerator and the denominator as it is. This is called as rationalizing the denominator. This is the simple method. The second method is somewhat complicated, you can say, not so much, but you have, whenever you have two terms into the denominator, what you have to do, you have to change the sign first. Change the middle sign first and then multiply it with the denominator and the numerator, and this process is called as taking the conjugate. So that was the simple monomial denominator which we were taking as it is, and into the conjugate we take two numbers from the denominator and change the sign. As you can see in the exercise 2.8, the question says that rationalize the denominators of the following. So if we have 2 plus root 3 into the denominator and we have to rationalize it, so how many terms are there? There are two terms over here, 2 and root 3. So whenever we have two terms over here and a third in them, what do? We change the middle sign. So we change the middle sign and multiply it with the numerator as well as the denominator. So 1 multiplied by 2 minus root 3 would come as it is, and 2 plus root 3, 2 minus root 3 would solve with the help of formula, which is a square minus b square equals to a plus b, a minus b. So a plus b, a minus b would become a square minus b square. So 2 minus root 3 upon 2 2s are 4, and this root has been cancelled by the square, so it has become 3. So 4 minus 3 is equals to 1. So rationalizing the denominator, we get 2 minus root 3. Now moving towards another question of this exercise, which is the most important question. It says that if x is equals to 2 minus root 3, find the value of x plus 1 upon x and x square plus 1 upon x square. So 1 upon x means that if we had 2 minus root 3 as an x and we have to find x plus 1 over x, we have the value of x already given in the question. We have to find the value of 1 over x first. So 1 over x means 1 over the value of x. The value of x is 2 minus root 3. So what do we have to do over here? First, we will rationalize the denominator. And what is the process? The process called as taking conjugate. So we will rationalize the denominator by taking conjugate over here, and we will come as 2 plus root 3 as our answer, as we have done into the previous questions as well. Now, we have got the value of x as well as 1 over x. So what do we have to find? X plus 1 over x. So we will add them together. We will take the value of x from over here, x minus root 3, and we will take the value of 1 over x from here, which is x plus root 3. So we will cancel plus root 3 with the minus root 3. There are two different signs. So minus root 3 has been cancelled by plus root 3. So 2 plus 2 is left. So 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. So we have got the value of x plus 1 over x. Now what do we have to find? We have to find x square plus 1 over x square. So we will apply the formula which is called as square. We will square on the both sides to make it and in the square form, and we will apply the formula which is called as perfect square. A plus b whole square is equals to a square plus 2ab plus b square. So opening this bracket with the help of this square, we will get the value of a, which is x square, plus 2 from the formula, plus ab. A is x and b is 1 over x, plus b square, which is 1 over x square. So x would be cancelled by x, so 2 would be left as it is. So x square plus 2 plus 1 over x square. We will take this value and put it over here, and we will square the other side as well. 4 4s are 16. So x square plus 1 over x square, we will take this 2 to the other side and subtract it, we will get 14. Now moving to the question number 5, which is the same as question number question number 2. But the difference is that we had x over here, over there, and we had to find x plus 1 over x. Now we have y, and we have to find y plus 1 over y. So this is completely as it is, as we have done into the previous question. So I'm not going to repeat this whole process for that. I am going to tell you that how can we find y minus 1 over y. I have already told you that x plus 1 over x, how can we find it? But I haven't told you that y minus 1 over y, how can we find this? So to find y minus 1 over y, what do? We will take the value of y. We will take the value of 1 over y, which we have taken by taking the conjugate, and we will subtract them from each other. Subtracting them would change the value signs of the second value, so it would become minus root 5 and minus 2. So plus root 5 minus root 5 would be cancelled. Minus 2 plus minus 2 and minus 2. It has changed the sign. So minus 2 is left. Minus 2 is equals to minus 4. Now we have another value which we have to find, which is y square minus 1 upon y square. In previous questions, we were having x plus 1 over x. We had plus sign over here. So we were applying bar bracket square. But we have minus sign over here. So we are applying difference of square. So we have already know the value of y plus 1 over square. We have also the value of y minus 1 over y. Then what we have to do, we have to multiply together to find the value of y square minus 1 over y square. So we will put the values simply and multiply them together. Minus 4 multiplied by 2 is equals to minus 8 and under root 5 as it is. Now, this is the last question I am going to discuss with you, and then we will move it for the home task. The last question says that if 1 upon b is given, into the previous slide we had y and x which was given, but into the new slide we have 1 over b is given and we have to find the b. So how can we do that? We have to find the 1 over b by this method. 1 over 1, we have already know the value of 1 over b, which is equals to 2 plus root 3, and we will left 1 as it is and take this b to the other side. Here it is dividing, and to the other side it will multiply with the value. So it would become 2 plus under root 3 multiplied by b. So this whole value is getting multiplied by b over here. On to the other side it will be divided by 1. So b would be left alone. So b is equals to 1 divided by 2 plus under root 3. So 1 over 2 plus under root 3 has come, which is the value of 1 over b. So we will take the conjugate, we will cancel, we will apply difference of square, which we were doing into the previous slides as well. So I am not going to repeat this whole process. The only thing which was new over here is 1 upon b is given and b has to be found. So we can find it with this method. So b plus 1 over b has come, and then we will square them together. So we will come to know the value of b square plus 1 over b square is equals to 40. We will again square it. Why we will again square it? Because we have b raised to the power 4 plus 1 upon b raised to the power 4, which has been asked into the question. So we will again square it to find the b4 plus 1 over b4. Now that's all from my side, and now I am going to give you some home tasks. And the whole thing which I have discussed today is about surds. I hope you understand what are surds. I also told you about the two methods by which we can rationalize the denominator. One is for the monomial denominator and the other one is with the binomial denominator. And now this is your home task, that you have to solve question number 1, part 1 as question number 1, part 2 and 3. As I have solved question number 1, part 1 into the previous slides. You have also have to solve question number 3 and 4 with the same pattern as I have solved question number 2. Question number 6 and 7 you have to solve as I have solved into the previous slides. Question number 5. You have to solve question number 9 and 10 with the same pattern as question number 4. Only question number 11 is different. But what is 11? 11 is the easiest question of the exercise. You have to find the order of the surd, and order of the surd is like this. But the index indicates the order of the surd. This is cube root 25. So cube is the order of this third order. This whole surd is of the third order. If there is 4, like index is 4, so this is the 4th order of the third, etc. So I hope you can all solve these questions very easily, because I have solved one question for you with the same pattern. So that's all from my side, and we will meet tomorrow as well for other exercises. That's all. Okay, Allah Hafiz from my side.